Okay, I'm about to perform my in-cab inspection. First off, we're going to make sure that my seatbelt is securely mounted, is not ripped or frayed, and is properly adjusted. Next thing I'm going to talk about is my emergency equipment. I should have 3 reflective triangles in the side box. I should have a fully charged fire extinguisher that is charged and is securely mounted. And I want to make sure that I have extra fuses for each fuse unless equipped with circuit breakers. Next thing I want to talk about is the safe start. I'm going to perform this. I'm going to push my clutch in, turn the key to the on position, wait for my gauges to cycle, make sure I'm in neutral, start the truck, wait for it to reach idle speed, and slowly release my clutch. My temperature gauge. The temp light should turn off, and reach operation. My oil pressure gauge should rise to operating range, and the light should turn out. My amp voltmeter should be 12 to 14 volts or in the green. My air pressure gauges, which are right here, should read 90 to 120 psi. My light indicators, my left turn signal, my right turn signal, my four-ways, and my lights, my high beam, low beam, all work properly. One thing I would like to mention is with the Volvos, it would be a red triangle on the dash that you push for the four-ways. As we can see here in the International and the Freightliner, there's a tab that you'll pull out. And to simply cancel that, pull your turn signal back down for the left turn. Next thing I'm going to talk about is my horn. My city horn and my air horn must work properly. Once again, on the Volvo, you're going to find both of these inside the steering wheel, where I'll have my air horn in the center, and on the side there are buttons for the city horn. My heater defroster. I want to make sure that my heater defroster works at all speeds and that nothing is blocking my airflow. My windshield and mirrors. First thing I want to talk about is my mirrors, and make sure that they are properly adjusted for the driver, and that all my glass is not cracked or damaged, and nothing is blocking my view. And it's also clean, by the way. I also want to check my windshield wipers. My windshield wipers are securely mounted. Blades are securely mounted, and then when I crack, frayed, dry rotted, or missing, we have proper tension to the glass, that it works in all speeds, and that my windshield washer fluid also is full and works properly. Alright, we're going to perform the park brake check. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the truck in first gear. I'm going to release my trailer brake as I'm checking to see if my tractor brakes are holding. I'm going to ease the clutch out, wait for some friction, and then push the clutch back in. That was a check of my tractor brake to see that it is holding. I'm going to reapply that trailer brake. I'm now going to release my tractor brake because now I want to check to see if my trailer brakes are holding. So I'm going to come up with the clutch again, to the friction zone or a rumble point. Once I have friction, I'm going to push the clutch back in. Now I'm going to release the tractor brake because that was a check to see if my trailer brakes were holding. Make sure you take it back to neutral and come off your clutch. Next thing I want to talk about is the service brake ABS. This is something I'm going to just verbalize. So as I talk about my service brake check, I would get my truck into third gear. I would accelerate to 5 miles per hour. I would apply my service brake. I want to see if the service brake is working. I also want to see to make sure that the brake is not pulling either left or right. I also want to make sure that my ABS light does turn off also. Now what I'm going to do is perform the air brake loss. And what I need to do here is I'm going to turn my truck off, take the key with me. I would take my seatbelt off. I would get out of the truck. I would make sure that I chalk my drive tires front and back. I then would get back into the truck, turn the key to the on position, put my seatbelt back on. And it's important that I do not start the truck at this point. I want to make sure I have at least 105 PSI for the test. I want to make sure that I release both brakes. I should expect a 10 to 15 PSI loss immediately. Once it stabilizes, it shouldn't lose more than 3 PSI per minute. If I put my foot on the service brake for a minute, I shouldn't lose more than 4 PSI per minute. I then want to start to fan down. And at 60 PSI, I should get a warning buzzer and a light indicator. Between 20 to 40 PSI is when both these brakes should pop out. And that completes my in cab.